Elliot had always found solace in the quiet corners of the city. The bustling streets of New York, with their ceaseless rhythm, often overwhelmed him, but there was magic in the hidden alleyways, the tucked-away bookstores, and the cafes where time seemed to slow. On a crisp autumn morning, he wandered into a small bookshop on the corner of Fifth Avenue, seeking escape from the noise and the demands of his modest life. His fingers traced the spines of books with a reverent touch, each title promising a world far beyond the realities he faced daily. Serena, draped in a soft cashmere scarf, entered the same bookstore with the elegance that seemed effortless. She belonged to a world of opulence and glittering galas, yet her heart sought the simplicity and intimacy that such quiet spaces offered. As she reached for a collection of poetry by Rumi, her hand brushed Elliot's. Neither pulled back immediately. Instead, they lingered in that fleeting contact, a spark igniting silently between them. "I'm so sorry," Serena whispered, her voice delicate but sincere. Elliot smiled gently, shaking his head. "No need to apologize. It seems we were both drawn to the same beauty," he said, his tone warm yet hesitant, as though he feared that words might shatter the fragile moment. Serena's eyes met his, and in that gaze, a recognition unfolded, not of faces or names, but of hearts that spoke the same language of longing and curiosity. For a long while, they wandered between shelves, talking quietly about books, life, and dreams that seemed impossible to voice aloud elsewhere. Elliot found himself captivated by the grace and intelligence in Serena's words, while she was disarmed by the depth of emotion she sensed in his gentle eyes. The world outside the shop, with its ceaseless noise and expectations, faded completely. All that existed was the soft rhythm of their conversation, and the delicate realization that something profound had begun. Serena laughed softly at one of Elliot's observations about a misprinted line in a classic novel, a sound that resonated with warmth and sincerity. Elliot, emboldened, responded with a shy joke, and for the first time in years, he felt a spark of freedom to feel, to hope, and to dream. "Do you often find yourself in places like this, escaping from everything?" Serena asked, a playful curiosity in her eyes. Elliot nodded, his gaze sincere. "Yes, and today, I think I escaped for a reason," he murmured, almost to himself, but she heard it nonetheless. As the afternoon sun streamed through the shop's tall windows, casting golden light on the dusty shelves, Serena and Elliot shared a small, unspoken promise, that this encounter, however brief, was a beginning. They did not know the challenges ahead, the worlds that separated them, the expectations of their families, the whisper of judgment from society, but in that moment, their hearts were tethered together, fragile yet unbreakable. Neither wanted the moment to end, yet both knew that life would soon call them back to their realities, leaving behind only the memory of a first connection so deep, it felt eternal. Over the next few weeks, Elliot and Serena found themselves meeting whenever fate allowed, sometimes in the quiet corners of the city's parks, sometimes in cafes tucked away from prying eyes. Each meeting felt like a stolen fragment of eternity, where the rest of the world ceased to exist. Elliot's modest apartment became a haven for shared conversations about dreams, hopes, and fears he had never voiced before. Serena brought warmth into the small, dimly lit space, and he noticed how even her laughter seemed to fill every shadowed corner with light. Their conversations often drifted into dreams that felt almost impossible, Elliot speaking of composing music that could stir souls, Serena sharing her longing to leave behind superficial grandeur and touch lives in a meaningful way. Each word, each pause, built a bridge between them, a silent promise of trust and understanding. On one rainy afternoon, they sat by a fogged window, their fingers brushing as they both reached for the same cup of tea. Neither pulled back, instead their hands lingered and Serena whispered, "It feels like the world disappears when I'm with you." Elliot's eyes softened and he murmured, "And yet it feels like I finally belong somewhere." They began sharing secrets they had never told anyone else. Elliot confessed his fear that he might never be enough for someone like her, that his family's financial struggles made him unworthy of Serena's elegance. Serena, in turn, revealed her own burdens, her family's endless expectations, the gilded cage of privilege that left her longing for freedom. In those moments of vulnerability, they discovered a rare intimacy. Each confession was a thread, weaving their hearts together more tightly. "I don't care about wealth," Elliot said softly, "I care about you." Serena's breath caught, and she rested her head briefly on his shoulder, feeling the sincerity in his words. One evening, beneath the golden hues of a setting sun along the East River, Elliot held Serena's hand and spoke words that would echo in their hearts forever. "I promise to protect your heart, to cherish every moment we have, and to stand by you, no matter how impossible things may seem." Serena's eyes glistened as she pressed her forehead against his, whispering, "And I promise to believe in us, even when the world doubts, even when the days are dark. I will stand with you." That night, their first true promises were made, small yet monumental, binding them in a world of whispered commitments and tender gazes. Yet even amidst their budding love, reality's shadows crept in. Serena's parents began to notice her frequent absences and whispered meetings. Elliot's friends and family, though supportive, worried that his heart might face heartbreak he could not bear. The weight of social expectations and financial disparity loomed over them, a silent tension beneath the delicate bloom of their romance. But neither let the pressure extinguish what had begun. Their meetings, filled with laughter, poetry, and whispered "I love yous," became sacred rituals, moments where the world's judgment could not touch them.
In these early days of love, every glance, every touch, every shared silence held the power of a thousand words.
They discovered joy in small gestures, Elliot leaving handwritten notes in Serena's favorite books, Serena humming melodies she had created for him as he worked late into the night. They spoke of dreams beyond the confines of their present lives, imagining a shared future where wealth and status meant nothing compared to the bond they nurtured. Their hearts, though young and fragile, beat in rhythm with a promise to remain steadfast, patient, and tender, no matter the obstacles awaiting them. The first shadows of conflict emerged quietly, like the softest murmur before a storm. Serena's father, a man of iron discipline and unwavering expectations, began to notice her frequent disappearances from a family estate and her distracted demeanor at dinner parties. He had envisioned a future for her mapped with strategic alliances, grand balls, and marriages that reinforced social prestige. The idea of his daughter falling for a modest young man from a middle-class family was unfathomable, even intolerable. One evening, after a particularly lavish gala, he confronted her in the private study, his eyes sharp, his tone icy. "Serena, you are drifting from the life you were born to lead," he said, his voice heavy with authority. "Do not let frivolous emotions dictate your future." Serena, her heart pounding, met his gaze with courage she didn't know she possessed. "Father, I cannot live a life dictated solely by wealth and status. I love someone who makes my heart feel alive," she said, her voice trembling but firm. The room fell into a tense silence. Her father's expression hardened, a mixture of disbelief and anger flashing across his face. "Elliot? That boy from the bookstore? Do you understand the chasm between your worlds?" Serena took a deep breath, feeling a surge of defiance. Love is not measured by bank accounts or social gatherings. It is measured by respect, by understanding, by shared hearts. Meanwhile, Elliot felt the invisible pressure of his own world. His parents, loving yet practical, worried constantly about the vulnerability of his heart. They admired Serena's intellect and beauty, yet the chasm of wealth and social influence made them anxious. "Elliot," his mother said softly one evening, "she is wonderful, yes, but are you prepared for the battles ahead? For the whispered judgments, the closed doors, the family expectations?" He had no answers, only certainty in the deep connection he felt. "I know the road is hard," he replied quietly, "but I cannot let fear keep me from loving her. I cannot." The lovers' secret meetings grew charged with both tenderness and tension. Every stolen moment, walking along the riverbanks, sharing late-night coffee, or lingering in quiet corners of museums, was imbued with urgency, as if time itself demanded they savor each heartbeat before the world intruded. They whispered promises more profound than words, each sentence a pledge of loyalty. "No matter what they say, I will return to you," Elliot murmured one rainy evening, as rain drummed against the cafe window. Serena's eyes glistened, and she leaned her forehead against his chest. "And I will wait, I will trust, and I will love you even through every storm." Even as they fought to shield their love from external pressures, moments of vulnerability surfaced. Serena confided in Elliot her fears of losing herself to her father's demands. Elliot shared his insecurities about inadequacy and the life he could never provide. They cried together, laughed together, and through every shared heartbeat, they built an unbreakable bond. It was a love that tested their patience, their courage, and their faith in one another. The weight of expectation threatened to crush them, yet their intimacy and honesty acted as a shield, making their hearts ever stronger in resolve. By the end of this challenging period, both knew the path forward would not be smooth. They would face arguments, judgment, and sacrifice, but they also understood something far more precious. Love was not the absence of obstacles, but the courage to overcome them together. Every glance, every touch, every whispered "I love you" became an affirmation that their bond could withstand even the most formidable opposition. In the quiet corners of the city, amid uncertainty and tension, their hearts continued to beat in a synchronized rhythm of hope, desire, and unwavering devotion. The tension between the two worlds escalated one evening when Serena's father demanded that she attend a formal family dinner, an event filled with influential guests and potential suitors. Serena, torn between obedience and desire, found herself retreating to Elliot's modest apartment, seeking the comfort of a heart that understood hers completely. "I cannot go," she whispered, her voice heavy with distress. Elliot took her hands in his, their warmth a grounding force amidst the storm. "You do not have to choose tonight," he said softly. "We will find a way together. Your heart is ours to protect, even from expectations." Despite the chaos outside, within the walls of their small refuge, love blossomed unfettered. Elliot prepared tea, the steam curling in delicate spirals, while Serena recounted the pressures she faced. They spoke in soft tones, sharing dreams that no one else could hear. "Sometimes, I wonder if they will ever understand what we feel," Serena admitted, leaning against his shoulder. Elliot brushed a strand of hair from her face. "It doesn't matter if they understand. What matters is that we do, and that we hold on to each other." In that moment, their hearts spoke louder than any societal expectation could ever attempt. Later, as the night deepened, they exchanged promises of eternal devotion. Elliot pressed his forehead to hers, their breaths mingling. "No distance, no opposition, no obstacle can sever what we have," he vowed. Serena's lips trembled in a smile, and she whispered back, "Then we face the world together without fear, without shame, and with every ounce of love we carry." Their words were more than vows. They were a pact of trust and resilience, a commitment that would be tested in the days and years to come. But reality, relentless and unforgiving, did not pause. Serena's father discovered the truth of their secret meetings and confronted Elliot directly one afternoon in the bookstore where their journey had begun. His tone was sharp, filled with authority and indignation. "Do you even know what you are asking of my daughter? Do you understand the consequences of daring to love beyond your social rank?" Elliot, standing tall despite his own nerves, met the gaze unwaveringly. "I understand perfectly. I am asking for her heart, her trust, and her happiness. Nothing else matters to me," he said, every word infused with the sincerity of his soul. The confrontation left both families wary, and yet paradoxically, it strengthened Elliot and Serena's bond. They had faced external judgment and survived the emotional tempest. In the quiet that followed, they leaned on one another, understanding the depth of the other's commitment. Nights were spent in whispered dreams, hand in hand, tracing futures that were both improbable and essential. They discovered a rare intimacy in shared fears, in laughter at the absurdities of societal expectations, and in small tender gestures. The way Elliot would tuck a loose strand of hair behind Serena's ear, the way Serena would hum softly while he worked on compositions that reflected their love. By the time the storm had passed, they emerged not weakened, but more resolute. The world outside could challenge them, threaten them, even judge them, yet their hearts had learned a profound truth. Love was not a fleeting passion, but a commitment to endure, to nurture, and to protect each other with unwavering devotion. In the quiet, after the storm, they held each other close, and for the first time, truly believed that love could withstand even the harshest of gales. In the days that followed the confrontation, Elliot and Serena retreated to their own sanctuary, a small hidden cafe by the river where the city's chaos felt like a distant echo. Here, time seemed suspended, and the pressures of family expectations and social norms melted away. They sat across from each other, hands intertwined, eyes locked with the intensity of 1,000 unspoken words. Elliot whispered softly, "I love the way your eyes find mine, even when the world wants to pull you away." Serena smiled, a faint blush coloring her cheeks, and replied, "And I love how your presence makes everything else fade into nothing." Each meeting became a treasure trove of small joys and tender rituals. Elliot began leaving handwritten notes in Serena's favorite books, poems that captured fleeting moments of their shared happiness. One note read, "Even the rain seems to fall softly in your presence.
You turn ordinary moment into memory, you never want to forget."
Serena, in turn, hummed melodies she composed while thinking of him, songs that Elliot played softly on his guitar, each note carrying the weight of their growing devotion. Their hearts conversed in silence, in gestures, in fleeting touches that spoke louder than any words ever could. One evening, beneath the glow of streetlights along a quiet avenue, Elliot took Serena's hand and led her to a secluded park. The air was crisp, scented with fallen leaves and the faint hint of autumn rain. "I want you to know," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "that whatever happens, I am yours. I will be your strength, your shelter, your laughter when you cannot find it anywhere else." Serena's eyes shimmered with tears of gratitude and love. She pressed her forehead against his chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart, and whispered, "And I am yours. I will love you, trust you, and stand beside you through every trial." These moments were punctuated with playful exchanges, laughter spilling into the night as if defying the shadows of their respective worlds. They shared stolen glances during quiet museum visits, held hands while exploring hidden bookstores, and exchanged secret smiles across crowded rooms. Each act, no matter how small, reinforced their promises, a love that was patient, tender, and resilient. They reveled in the freedom of knowing they were understood completely by one another, in a way no one else could. Even as the outside world threatened to intrude, they found strength in the tiny rituals of intimacy. A shared coffee at dawn, the tracing of initials on foggy window panes, and whispered words that began with "I love you" and ended with a vow to endure. They discovered the extraordinary in the ordinary, a quiet walk, a glance that lingered, a brush of hands in passing. Every fleeting touch became a pledge, every glance a reaffirmation that their bond was unbreakable. By the end of this chapter of their lives, Elliot and Serena realized that love was not merely passion or desire, it was trust, patience, and the courage to be vulnerable. Their hearts, once cautious and hesitant, now beat in perfect rhythm, carrying the certainty that no matter the obstacles, they would face them together. In each other's presence, they found not only love but a profound sense of home, a sanctuary that belonged solely to their hearts. As time passed, the intensity of their love was tested by the inevitable pressures of life. Elliot, who had always been sensitive and introspective, began to feel the strain of his modest income and long working hours. Serena, though supportive, struggled with the weight of her family's expectations, attending events that demanded her attention and charm, leaving little time for their private moments. Slowly, tension crept into their conversations, the laughter that had once come easily now punctuated with sighs and quiet frustration. One evening, after a particularly long day, they argued over something trivial: Elliot's delay in replying to a message, Serena's inability to attend a small gathering he had looked forward to. Voices rose, emotions spilled over, and for the first time, the sense of perfect understanding between them faltered. "Do you even know how hard this is for me?" Serena said, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Elliot's own eyes reflected exhaustion and hurt. "I am trying, Serena. Every day I am trying. But sometimes it feels like the world is against us," he replied, his voice trembling with both frustration and sorrow. In the silence that followed, both felt the sting of distance, a reminder that love, no matter how deep, required patience and compromise. They retreated to separate corners of their hearts, thinking of the promises they had made, yet burdened by the realities they faced. That night, sleep came uneasily, dreams restless, echoing fears that their love might not survive the weight of expectation and circumstance. Yet even in the solitude, their hearts could not abandon the bond they shared. It pulsed faintly, like a fragile flame refusing to die. The following morning brought a tentative reconciliation. Elliot left a small note on Serena's dresser, handwritten with the care of his heart: "I am imperfect and life is messy, but my love for you is constant. Forgive my frustration, and let us find our way back to each other." Serena found it, her eyes moist with emotion, and replied in kind, "No love is perfect. Even storms pass. I believe in us, always. Come to me, and let us heal together." That simple exchange of words, tender and unpretentious, bridged the gap that had briefly widened between them. From that point onward, they learned that love was as much about patience, forgiveness, and humility as it was about passion and joy. Disagreements became opportunities for deeper understanding. Moments of silence became spaces to reflect on their shared dreams. Every embrace, every apology, every small gesture became a reaffirmation of their commitment, strengthening their bond against the storms of life. Even amid trials, they never lost sight of the joy that had first brought them together: the quiet cafes, the shared poems, the stolen walks along the river. They discovered that love was resilient not because it avoided conflict, but because it endured through it. And in each other's arms, they found not only comfort and solace but also the courage to face the world, hand in hand, heart with heart, ready to navigate every tempest together. By the time Elliot and Serena reached the final chapter of their shared journey, the city around them had witnessed the evolution of a love that defied expectations, challenges, and time itself. Their bond, tested by societal judgment, family opposition, and life's inevitable hardships, had grown stronger and more resilient than either could have imagined. The quiet corners of bookstores, the foggy windows of cafes, and the secluded riverbanks had all become sacred markers of a love that could withstand any storm. Serena's father, after months of observing the unwavering devotion between them, finally softened. He saw how Elliot's kindness, integrity, and unwavering commitment complemented his daughter's intelligence, warmth, and courage. One evening, he invited Elliot to the family estate, not to lecture or demand, but to speak sincerely. "I see now," he admitted, his voice tinged with humility, "that you love Serena with a depth and honesty I cannot ignore. I was wrong to doubt you. Take care of her, as I trust you will." Elliot, with a heart brimming with gratitude, bowed respectfully. "Thank you, sir. I promise to honor and protect her heart always." The lovers celebrated the resolution of their trials with quiet joy. They walked hand in hand through the streets of New York, laughter and conversation blending with the rhythm of the city. Each glance, each gentle squeeze of the hand, reaffirmed their commitment. They spoke of dreams and futures, of shared spaces and lives intertwined not by obligation but by choice and devotion. "We've made it through so much," Serena said, resting her head on Elliot's shoulder. "And yet, I feel this is only the beginning." Elliot kissed the top of her head and replied, "With you, every beginning feels eternal." In the intimate sanctuary of their shared moments, they continued to nurture their love. They wrote letters to each other, crafted melodies that spoke of their journey, and celebrated small triumphs together. The first apartment they decorated as a couple, quiet dinners filled with laughter, and spontaneous midnight walks under starlit skies. Their love, now fortified by both joy and adversity, radiated a sense of peace and completeness. Even as they faced the ordinary challenges of life, career changes, familial obligations, and unforeseen difficulties, they did so with unwavering trust and respect. Each obstacle became an opportunity to grow closer, to understand each other more deeply, and to demonstrate that love is not merely about passion but about patience, sacrifice, and enduring loyalty. Every shared smile, every whispered "I love you," and every comforting embrace became proof that they had built something eternal. In the end, Elliot and Serena's story was more than a romance. It was a testament to the resilience of hearts bound by trust, understanding, and the courage to defy societal norms in pursuit of authentic connection. Against the backdrop of New York's towering skyline and bustling streets, they found not just love, but a home in each other's hearts. Their journey, marked by trials, triumphs, and tender promises, became a legacy of devotion, an enduring story of two souls who dared to love fully, fiercely, and unconditionally. As the sun set over the city, Elliot held Serena close, their silhouettes bathed in golden light. "No matter where life takes us," he whispered, "we have this always." Serena smiled, her eyes reflecting the warmth and depth of a love that had conquered all. "Always," she echoed, sealing their vow with a kiss that promised forever.